Hey folks, what's up? Lex here, and welcome to another This Week in Sales video. This one should be pretty interesting because it was the week leading up to Christmas. Um, if you saw my last video, my last This Week in Sales, I pretty much set myself up for complete disappointment. No, I wanted to kind of limit my expectations about um, what exactly we were going to get this week because a lot of people are traveling. A lot of people are done spending, done shopping. So I kind of figured that this week was going to be kind of a week, week. Sure, why not? We'll go with that. A week. Anyway, I was wrong. It wasn't that bad. It still wasn't like where I'd like to be necessarily, but it certainly wasn't any worse than the past few weeks have been. So let's get into what sold this past week from December 18th to the 24th. Again, basically right through Christmas Eve. So, all right, first off, we have this SpongeBob SquarePants Krusty Krab Pizza t shirt. I picked this up at a thrift store in a town about 15 miles north of me. It's a local one, and so it's not Salvation Army or Goodwill. Um, I just I'm of course I watched SpongeBob as a kid, and this was one of my favorite episodes, so I had to pick this one up. It was a small. Um, it sold for $15. I had it listed for 19.95. Someone sent me an offer of $12 a couple of days before this. I countered with 15, and they never. Um, well, no, wait, what happened here? What am I talking about? Okay, let me go back through this. What happened was someone sent me an offer of $10. I sent them an offer of 15 in counter to that, and they sent me an offer of 12, and I declined it straight out. And then a couple days later, I got an offer for 15. I'm guessing it was the same buyer. I accepted. It sold $15. It was $4.06 to ship, $2.40 in fees. I paid a dollar for this. So my total net profit is $7.54. This was originally listed in July 14th. So it sat for a long time. Obviously, for how long it sat, for how much I actually got in net profit, was it worth it? Probably not. But money is money, right? So, you learn your lesson, you move forward. All right, next up we have this Rhea Ripley WWE Bleacher Creature 10-inch plush, I guess is what it is. This sold for $19.95. It was $5.38 to ship, $3.03 in fees. I paid $3.49 for this at Goodwill, and my total net profit was $8.05. Originally listed September 24th. So sat for a couple of months. This was just one of those things at Goodwill. I was looking through the toy section. I used to be a pretty big wrestling fan. I still like wrestling, the thought in general of wrestling. I just don't like modern wrestling, but I saw this. It was new with tags, so I thought I'd pick it up for $3.49. Would I pick it up again? It was, it sat for a little bit, but it was a plush. It sat in a bin out of the way, so it wasn't too bad. Next up, we have this Thomas Kincaid Blue Winter Cabin large graphic T-shirt. It's kind of tie-dye as well. I guess not kind. I don't know what you would call that. I don't know if that's tie-dye or some other design. But anyway, it sold for $34.95. Shipping was $5.38 as well. Fees were $5.08. I paid $3.99 for this at Goodwill for a total net profit of $20.50. Originally listed on December 21st. No, that's not right. It's sold on December 21st. I do that sometimes when I'm filling this out. Um, what I write for when it was listed was I accidentally put when it was sold. So let me look at this real quick. It was originally listed on August 17th. So sat for a couple of months. Really cool shirt though. Back in the day when I was young, I'm not a kid anymore, and so on and so forth. If you know that song, um, I used to go to the mall and they would have Thomas Kincaid like setups there where they'd have a bunch of his prints of his paintings and stuff like that. And my mom was really into him at one point. My grandma was really into him at one point. So Thomas Kincaid is kind of like Bob Ross to me in a sense. Not quite the same, but a famous painter. But yeah, so I had to pick that up when I found it. Definitely would pick that up again for a $20 net profit. Next up, we have this Justin Workwear big just work jacket, like very heavy. Very nice. It did have some flaws on it. It had some like bleach staining, but it was very small spots. Um, I picked this up at a yard sale actually. So it sold for $59.95. Shipping was $13.59 on this big hunk of jacket. Fees were $8.69. I paid $7 for this at a yard sale, and it's actually funny because I picked this up um, at a yard sale over the summer. It was really hot that day. I remember this very well. It was really hot. And at that sale, I picked up like a pair of like Miss Me jeans and stuff like that. But I found this jacket and I asked the guy whose jacket it was, how much would you want for this? And I think he said like $1, but then like his wife came over and said, no, that's $7. So I almost got it for $1, but I paid up $7 for it. So a total net profit of $30.67, originally listed on November 12th. So I picked it up probably July and just kept it in the closet until November, then listed it in November. And it took a month to sell, but that's not too bad. Next up, we have this Nike Running Chicago Marathon Windrunner jacket. This was an extra small. It sold for $43 on an offer. I had it listed for $49.95. It was $4.04 to ship, $6.42 in fees, and I paid $5.99 for it at Goodwill. And my total net profit was $26.55. Originally listed on November 15th. This was just a really cool jacket that I found going through the women's athletics section. And I knew it would sell, but the extra small had me worried. I was worried it wasn't going to sell this winter and I'd have to wait another year for it, but it did end up selling, thankfully. Next up, we have this WWE Elite Hall of Fame Ted DiBiase, the $1 Million Man. This sold for $79.95, and I have a funny story about that. Let me go through the numbers real quick, though. It was $8.82 to ship, $11.50 in fees. Again, I don't count how much I paid for this because it was years and years ago that I bought this, so it doesn't really affect my business and my bottom line. And my total net profit for this was $59.63, originally listed in September on the 14th, so it sat for a little while. But I grabbed it off my wall, which is where I keep most of my wrestling figures, and I was packaging it up as I do, as I showed in the how do I package wrestling figure videos. And I look at it, and there's a crack in like the plastic molding that holds the figure in place. And I'm like, I don't remember seeing that. So I went back to my listing and looked at the pictures, and sure enough, it was there. It was shown in the pictures. So just to be careful, just to be safe, I messaged the buyer and said, I just wanted to make sure you knew that there's a crack in the blister and the holding, the plastic molding. Just before I send it, before I print the label off, just to make sure you're okay with that and that you saw that as well. And they messaged back saying that it was fine because they were buying it for a friend and the friend's just going to open it anyway. So thankfully that was avoided. But it's just one of those things where I did not put it in the description. I obviously had it in the photos, but I didn't put it in the description. So I wanted to be clear before anything was printed off and shipped that was the case. So next up, we have this Pantera 3 Vulgar Videos from Hell DVD. Showed this in resale haul number 8, I believe. Might have been 9. But in that video I said, let me run through the numbers, and then I'll do my story, my spiel. It was $4.06, or it sold for $39.95. Shipping was $4.06. fees were $6.48, and I paid $5.99 at Goodwill for this. And my total net profit was $23.42, originally listed on December 22nd. So this lasted a day. And then it sold. Originally, I had said that a friend of mine had bought a Pantera DVD from me earlier. In my mind, it was not this DVD, but it actually was this DVD. It was just a later release of the DVD. This was like the original release of the DVD. Um, I think 99 is when it was released, is what he said. And that makes sense because it's the original paper holding that, or cardboard holder, or case, whatever you want to call it, the DVDs came out in when they were first released. So he had already bought that for me. I listed it, and sure enough, it sold in a day. So, and it sold for a pretty good amount too. And the disc was in perfect shape. The case was in really good shape. It had some wear on the sides, but wasn't really that bad. Yeah, so I picked these up all day. I always look for like rock DVDs, music DVDs, concert DVDs. Not all go for good money, that's for sure. I've actually found an Adele sealed DVD from a concert she did at the Royal Albert Hall, and it was worth like maybe $10 at the most. So not all rock or music DVDs. Adele's not rock. Not all music DVDs are gonna fetch a good amount, but I have sold some pretty good DVDs and Blu-rays. You know, people like the Who and stuff like that. It can fetch a pretty good amount, especially VHS tapes too, because those are collectors. Last thing that we're going to look at is this private sale that I did with my friend Book. He bought a PSP 1000 from me, a PS1 with the controller and the hookups, Gotham Knights on Xbox One, Cave Story on the Switch, and X-Men Legends 2, I believe, on the Xbox. And I sold all that to him for $165 shipped. So I paid $18.95 on the shipping. I had about $50 into this. Some of this was old stock that I had from years and years ago. Some of it was stuff that I bought in lots that was basically already paid for with the other stuff that I sold. So my net profit off of this was $96.05, which is obviously a nice net profit, and that's going to bring everything up here at the end. Um, my friends are awesome when it comes to supporting me and buying stuff from me. I love selling to my friends because I know that they're not getting taken by what I'm selling them. If there's a problem with what I sell them, and there has been problems in the past where like maybe a controller, one of the buttons doesn't work, I make it right. Like, they don't have to pay another penny for me to make it right with them. And then on top of that, they're supporting me in my business. It's a beautiful thing all around. And of course, I give them good deals on the stuff they buy from me. Part of that is because I don't have to pay eBay fees. So I pass that savings on to them and give them a better deal. So, time to look at the numbers in total. Our total gross for the week was $457.75. That's an increase of 11% over last week. The net was $200 or $272.41, and that's an increase of 16% over last week. So that is awesome. Again, not quite where I want to be. I'd like to be gross 700 and I'd like to be net 350. But obviously for a week that I thought was going to be a total wash and a total disaster, it was actually one of my best weeks I've had in quite some time, really. Let's see. At least a couple of weeks. I mean, the net, especially since we started doing, I think this might be the highest net I've had since we started doing these videos. It wasn't the highest gross, but it was the highest net, which is awesome. That also means that I am doing better on my per sale net profit, which is what you want to do as you grow as a reseller. you want to make sure that what you're picking up is worth your time, worth the time of listing an item. I see some people that do reselling who have, a lot of sales, right? But they're only making like $1 or $2 net profit off of each item they sell. What that does is, number one, it's more work, right? Because each listing takes at least 5 minutes, uh, for the most part. Sometimes you can just redo listings. Sometimes you can use stock photos, but personally, I don't like doing that. That also means a higher chance of returns. It means a higher chance of negative feedback. It's best, in my opinion, for me anyway, to limit what I'm selling to things that are going to make the most net profit, that are worth my time, 5, 10, 15 minutes each item to list, and so on. That way, I'm not killing myself, running myself into the ground or burning myself out for $1 or $2 per item. So that's where my headspace is going into this new year. We're not quite there yet. We've got one more week to go here. I've already had a couple of sales. I had a sale on Christmas, which actually blew my mind. I didn't think I'd have any sales on Christmas. And then I got a couple of sales today on Monday as I'm recording this here. So, um, yeah, hopefully things keep rolling. Hopefully people are ready to spend again, and that we do better next week. Anyway, this has been long enough, so thank you so much for watching. Until next time, this is Lex, signing off.